This podcast is part of the Zeo to Hero Podcast Network.
AvenuePodcast.net.
Hello, all my beautiful people. It's time for another fun episode of If You Give a Dad a Podcast, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy this episode. I have on the Majestic Mystii Marks this time, and she was a lot of fun to talk to. We talk about all kinds of things, from starting out in ROW, training with Booker T, to training with Jazz and Rodney Mack in Dog Pound. We even talk about some of the matches that she would like to have in the future and some of her favorite people to wrestle. We even talk about the big leagues. We've got stories in here. This episode is a blast, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. I know that I did recording it. And for those of you who are here just to listen to the Mystii Marks episode, welcome. I hope that you enjoy what you hear, and I hope that you stick around and listen to some of the other great episodes I have here as well. So, if you guys are as excited as I am, then let's get this show on the road.
If You Give a Dad a Podcast. Hey, Dad.
So where did you actually train at?
I made a really good career out of being able to bump, sell, and I had a punch me face.
I wasn't about to call you dad, so.
Seriously?
I felt like I was in an anime or something.
People get really mad at those videos for some reason. Like, it triggers certain people, yeah.
Wow.
I was actually lost as an infant, and I was taken in by a traveling group of independent wrestlers.
I love it. I'm excited for this one.
Bro.
You get punched in the face on the daily. Do you always do these interviews with your shirt off?
What?
Man, this guy won't shut up.
All right, everybody. So this one is going to be a lot of fun, I think, today. I have a wrestler out of the Texas area. She actually was the inaugural women's champion for Dog Pound Championship Wrestling. She is also the APW Queens Champion and the VWR Genesis Champion. Like I said, she works with Dog Pound, TSW, ROW, and even Texoma. And I am talking about Mystii Marks. How are you doing today?
Yes, you are talking about Mystii Marks, and I am doing great. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. You know, I'm just glad to be out here talking to you.
I'm happy you invited me to come on so we can chit chat.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a lot of fun.
Agreed.
So, I mean, this is something that we all love, and I talk about people, or I talk to people about wrestling quite a bit and everything, and I love to get their story about what actually got you into wrestling.
Well, I've been interested in wrestling since I was a little girl. I would say my mom kind of got me into it. She was a huge fan, and I just remember one day, sitting down with her watching it when I was about, I want to say like 8 or 9 or something around that age.
Okay.
And ever since then, I was hooked. I remember the first casting match I saw on SmackDown with my mom, and her every time someone would get body slammed or hit the mat, she would go boom, and she would scare me. So at first I hated it. Yeah. But after, watching the greats, The Rock, Stone Cold, Hulk Hogan, like watching them, I kind of just got into it.
Right. You kind of grew up around the Attitude and Ruthless Aggression era, I think. Didn't you?
I did.
That's a great time for wrestling. I mean, it's full of memorable moments. Is there anyone in particular that, like, when you saw that, you're like, I think this is something that I want to do?
You know what? I didn't cross my mind if it's something that I wanted to do until I got older in age. So I got in my 20s.
Okay.
I graduated college. I was with someone, and I would bug him about watching wrestling. Like, we got to get home to watch wrestling. Like, we got to get home. Like our date night is going to be early, or we got to go the day before because I got to get home and watch wrestling.
Yeah.
So my birthday came around, and I think the week before that, SmackDown was in Houston, and I went. I got a specially made shirt with Naomi. She was my favorite. Well, she is my favorite wrestler. And he was like, "Why don't you try wrestling?" And I was like, "You can't try that. Like, what are you talking about?" So I did some research, and I came across Booker T's Reality Wrestling School, and lo and behold, he had a fantasy camp. Oh. So I went to paid my money to do the fantasy camp, just went in and that day I took my very first bump and it was fun. I haven't looked back.
Wow. Well, I know that you've done training and stuff with Jazz and Rodney Mack too.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a couple people from Dog Pound on here. I've had actually I've had the Graysons. I've had Xander and Nathaniel both on here. So I know a little bit about Dog Pound Championship Wrestling and stuff. So where all is it that you've trained at?
I've trained at 2 places thus far. It's been at Reality of Wrestling and now at Dog Pound.
Okay. And you've done actually pretty well there. Like you said right before we got on here, you were the inaugural champion at Dog Pound for the women's division.
I was. Yes, I was. Absolutely.
What
and
was
it's
it
crazy
like?
that I was, because like I didn't think I would be, the inaugural champion,
Right.
after wrestling a legend like Angel Orsini, like I didn't think that I would beat her. I mean, she's a legend in the business herself. So to beat a legend, to become the first ever, it's like, what?
Right.
So it was a great honor for me to represent Dog Pound in that way. And I can always say I'm the inaugural,
Right. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's got to be very nerve-wracking too. What was going through your mind whenever that match was going on?
It was like the whole thing. My mom was, don't screw this up. Don't screw this up. Like, don't screw this up, but beat her ass. Like this is what you've been fighting for. You've been fighting to be the top dog.
Yeah.
At Dog Pound, so I was like, you got to beat her ass. You got to beat her ass. So that was like the first thing that was in my mind. And I was really, really nervous. I remember telling Jazz, like, Jazz, are you sure you want me to wrestle her, for the title? Like, this is crazy. But it was like I'm wrestling a legend. Like, I train with Jazz like every day.
Uh-huh.
But she's a legend in her own right. And then Angel Orsini, another legend. And I'm like, oh, this is crazy. Like, it's just like, it's a
living the dream.
Feeling. Like, yeah, like all these like wrestling these amazing women. I'm just like, okay, girl, like you've only been like in ring competing for like a year, and you're already, wrestling these legends, and they're giving you great feedback after your matches. It's
right.
Like it's nice.
Well, I mean, I'm all the way I'm in Northwest Arkansas, so I'm a little ways away from where you guys are at. But your name traveled all the way up here. I know plenty of people. In fact, I work with Diamond State Wrestling up here in Northwest Arkansas, and I was talking to the guy who runs the company there, and I told him, I was like, oh, I'm recording with Mystii Marks. He's like, oh, really? So your name has even traveled all the way up here. So you've done amazing stuff since you've been in here. Even though I know you've been in for what is it, 2 years now?
I've been in ring competing for 2 years. I've been in the business for 4.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've done some really awesome stuff then.
Thank you. I'll be saying it to myself. I'm like, dang, it's really been like 4 years.
Yeah.
Like I tell myself that all the time. Like, yeah, now the stuff I've accomplished in this short amount of time, I'm like, okay, like what else is there to come in the next 4 more years? Like, girl, what you doing?
No, you never know what's going to come on down the road. So,
yeah.
So you said that your mom is the one who actually got you into wrestling. How is she with all this? Is she your biggest fan in the front row?
Crazy, no.
Really?
After I got into it as a young child, I guess the older I got, the more my mom was no longer interested in wrestling.
Gotcha.
So when I told her, I made the announcement, I was like, hey, Mom, I'm going to wrestle. Mm-hmm. She was like, okay. Like she was like, I don't think she knew what to say. Like, my daughter wrestling, okay, whatever, girl. Like, you ain't gonna do that. And now, like, I was holding. Well, now I have 2 championships, and I was a inaugural champion.
Right.
She's come around to be more supportive. I think it was more of her. Like, I'm her only daughter.
Okay.
So for her only daughter to want to go out and wrestle, she was like, no, that's my baby. Like, my baby girl is not doing that.
Right.
But I think she sees now 4 years. And I've been traveling a lot. She's like, all right, she not playing with this. Like, this is something she's going to do. So she's been supportive. She's come to a few matches that she can make it to.
That's cool.
But yeah.
Well, and you can be like, Mom, it's okay. I'm a badass. I can do this.
Oh, she knows it now. But when she sees me in the ring with a bigger girl, because every now and then I'll send her my matches, she was like, why that big girl beat you up like that? I don't like that. I'm like, Mom, it's okay. Like, you see, I'm safe. I'm talking to you right now. It's okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So who would you say are some of your biggest influences on your in-ring style?
Jazz for sure, Jazz and
Mhm.
Booker T for sure. Those
Yeah.
two have made an impact on it. Even Rodney Mack, like the certain things that he does, being the fact that he was a amateur wrestler,
Yeah.
he showed me some things. So I feel like I get like a mixture of all three of them when I wrestle.
Yeah. So I actually have a funny story with Rodney. And I follow him on Twitter, and he started following me back and everything. Well, I started getting these messages on there, but I knew it wasn't him because it was somebody sending me like kissy face emojis and stuff. So I sent him a message on Facebook and said, "Hey, I think you've been hacked or something like that." And then he responded and he was like, "Yeah, I did, but I got it fixed." I was like, "I didn't think that was you sending me kissy faces." So I've always got that story to tell. So
Wow. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Rodney Mack would not be sending,
no, I don't think so.
not even on a really good day,
No. You say that you trained with in Booker T school too, correct?
Correct. That's where I started.
Okay. And I actually met him one time, and I got to say, he's probably one of the nicest wrestlers that I've ever met.
Thanks.
He was, he had nobody at his table. And so I just walked up and was like, "Hey, I was at a Comic-Con." And man, he just stood there and talked to me like he knew me. And I was like, "Man, this is the coolest thing ever." So every time I hear somebody who knows Booker T, I'm like, "Yeah, that's the coolest dude ever."
Thanks. He's really nice.
So we've talked about how you got your wrestling style influences. What are the influences behind your character?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't know. I think she was just developed as I continued it into my career. Like, I remember when I first came out, like with my whole gear design, I didn't know where I wanted to go with it. I just know, like, before I even was wrestling, I had my gear. Like, I started off as a referee. I know most of my fans know that. I started off as a referee at Row.
Okay.
And then I already had my gear. Like, I had gear ready then. Like, my gear was ready, I think, a year before I even debuted. So I just came up with the gear idea. I just like, I want to do this half and half thing. Like, I'm a bad bitch, but I'm also sweet. Like, that's what I wanted my gear to come off as.
Yeah.
And so, like, as I, when I left Booker T and I went to Dog Pound, Jazz kind of gave me, because there's no female trainers at Row. So to go to Jazz, to school where Jazz is at, and she kind of gave me the lay of the land when it comes to like women and their gear and stuff like that. She kind of be like, "Oh, I like it, Misty, but you need to do this to your gear. You need to do this to your gear. You need to get wrestling boots." Like she elevated my gear style.
Right.
And I think when she did that, it kind of moved into, okay, now that you have that down, who is Mystii Marks?
Yeah.
Like, you need to find out who Mystii Marks is, what's the fighting style you want to go with. So as I had more and more matches, I just developed to this bad bitch. Like Jazz. Like Jazz always said, I'm that bitch. I'm that bitch.
Yeah.
So I think I'm like the little bitch of Jazz. That's just how it developed.
Yeah.
And I like it. I'm not gonna lie though, I'm still trying to figure out who Mystii Mark is as far as how she want to be portrayed to the fans, to little girls. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Right.
But at the end of the day, Mystii Marks is a little bitch of Jazz. If that makes sense.
Yes, I totally understand. So that's one thing that I have noticed. You said something there that so I have a daughter, and when we go to these matches, she always lights up whenever the women's matches starts and stuff like that. And being a role model for the young girls and stuff it's very important. It's an important job that people don't take lightly. And so I'm happy to see women out there like you that are showing that strong portrayal of a woman. I know you said that it's something that you've thought about and everything, but is it anything that you've adapted into the character that you're portraying?
Of course. I know they're not, well, at one point there wasn't a lot of Black wrestlers.
Right.
And now there's so many. And then the pool of Black female wrestlers have shortened. So I like to make sure like young girls know, Black or whatever race they may be, that, wrestling can be for everybody. Like, it's so versatile. Like, it's crazy. And I feel like the way I wrestle, I try my best to portray something to a young girl. Like, dang, if Mystii Marks can do that,
right?
I could do that too. Like, if she, like, I'm a short, thick girl, okay? I can't get high as the smaller girls or do all this flippy stuff.
Yeah.
But when I do something that's great, it's like, what? You can do that? I'm like, yeah, I can do that, girl. It took a lot of practice, but I got it done. And to like come out and, shake all of their hands and go to the meet and greets and meet them there. And they're like, Mystii, you're my biggest fan. I'm like, what? Me?
Yeah.
Like me? Like this small girl from Houston, come up in the hood. Like, I'm like me. It's crazy.
Yeah.
No,
I totally get that. And like I said, I appreciate that, having a daughter myself and being able to see her light up whenever we go to these shows, whenever the women get in the ring. That way she's like, look, they can do it too. It makes my day whenever I see that.
Yeah. I love seeing those little girls. I take so many pictures, I think mainly with little girls.
Yeah.
And for them to ask me these questions, like, how you do this, what school can I go to? I'm like, come to the school, like, come train with me. Like,
yeah,
I'm not the teacher, but, I'll be in the ring with you. I can guide you. Jazz's daughter, Sky Mack, she, even though she's younger than me, she teach me some stuff. I mean, she comes to the school, we train together. Like, she's one of the young Black girls I would like to influence, even though she has her mom on this bigger scale. But, me and her are a little bit closer in age, but just that right there just makes me happy,
Yeah. So I know that Mystii Marks is a worked name, I guess you could say. How did you come up with your name?
Oh, okay. So I'm in a group with some friends. Like, we would alternate on who house we would have the next pay-per-view at. So if there's a pay-per-view, like, our house we going to. Yeah. So those group of friends I have, I put in a what's called a survey, and I was like, hey y'all, I already figured out my first name, and the way I came up with it was, I was like, what name that no one has in the business that can stand out amongst other names? Mm-hmm. So I did a couple little research. I knew I wanted my name to start with the M. So I just started like rambling off M names off the top of my head. And I was like, ooh, okay, Mystii. I like Mystii. Mystii. It's mysterious. I can do a lot of wordplay with Mystii. So I stuck with that name. And then I couldn't figure out my last name. Couldn't figure it out for nothing. So going back to my previous, what I was saying, I put the survey in it. And I think I had Ford, Mark, and it was like two other ones I can't think of right now. Mm-hmm. And all my friends was like, I don't like none of them. They was like, I don't like none of them. And I was like, y'all gotta pick one. Just pick one. So the majority was Mark. And then one of them in the group was like, why don't you put an S on it and make it Marks? And I was like, oh, I like that. I like that a lot. So, Mystii Marks was created.
That's so cool. And I like the way you spell it. It's a very unique spelling for Mystii. I had to check my spelling whenever I was doing my research and everything to make sure that I was going to the right places. So I like that.
When I first, I did the original spelling in my STY, and I was like, I don't know, the spelling of it just didn't look like me. Yeah. Like, that don't look like something I would spell like that. Right. So I was like, man, how can I make it better? Mm-hmm. So when I switched the Y and the I's, I was like, that looks good. I was like, but I'm gonna add another I. There you go. Because in my mind, I was thinking, like, I started off as a referee, now I'm a wrestler. That's two I's. Okay. Like, I'm twice as good. Like, there you go. So that's how I came up with that whole thing of putting two I's at the end. So yeah.
I like that. And then the Majestic part, how did that come in?
So I knew I wanted another word with the M that portrays me as being like really great. So when I put in, I think the word I used was excellent. And I was looking up synonyms to excellent, and then Majestic came. I said, yep, I want to use that. So I was like, yes. So I was like, whenever you say me, I am the majestic one, or call me Majestic, either one. So that's how that was born.
I like that.
Yeah, so it's like triple M, like Mystii Marks Majestic. Like, yeah. And another thing too, I wanted to find a name that was Googleable. Like, Yeah, like if you Google Mystii Marks, there's no mistaking that you found me.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I
Like,
think you were the first couple results was you. I think the first one that came up was like your Instagram account.
because I put in, like, you can put in Mystii Marks. I think Mystic Falls come up
Yeah.
or something like that, and that's a famous place, so you know that's not me. So, so yeah, when I put that in, like, instantly, you already know it's me. So I think I did pretty good with that.
So, do you have a favorite opponent?
Favorite opponent? So two girls I really enjoy. Well, it's more than two. Like, there's so many good competitors out there. But I'm gonna list top 5. Okay, let's do no particular order.
That's fine.
So Maddie Rinkowski.
Okay.
Jasmine Allura. Mia Friday.
All right.
Maya World.
Yeah.
Oh, who else I want to do in now? Oh, I want to say Jazz, but we haven't really wrestled, you know. We've been in training together. But I'm gonna just the top 4. Though I love wrestling those 4 women.
Yeah.
Like, we have fun in the ring. We make magic. Denise Day. I would say Denise Day.
Okay.
Those 5 women, like, we have fun in the ring. We make magic, and I feel like we have a good offset of what the other person does.
Right.
So when we come with something, it's a good reversal into something else. And it's like, oh, we did. Like, it's so exciting. And they know how to hit. They will hit you. Okay.
Oh, okay.
That it brings out the badass in me. So yeah, those 5 women, I love it.
That's awesome. Do you prefer to be a heel or a face?
I prefer to be a heel.
Do you?
It in ring, I prefer to be a heel. Outside the ring, when it comes to the fans, I like being a face.
Gotcha. I get you.
Yeah.
From what I hear, being a heel is more fun, you know, especially, you know, you get to get out there and talk trash to the crowd. And yeah.
The best thing, like I was saying, I told someone, I said, the best thing about being a heel, you get to talk shit to people and not care.
Yeah.
And to see the tears on little kids' faces, you suck. So, like, that's the best part. That is the best part.
That's good. Do you have a favorite fan interaction? Either it being being a heel or a face, or if you want to give one of each.
Fan interaction. Ooh, there's this little boy at Reality Wrestling named Coulter. He always has a sign. And if it's the sign of my opponent, I walk up to him, I rip his sign up, and I throw it in his face. It's the best. It's the best part of my day when I go to Raw. But afterwards, he always have a candy or a flower for me, and I give him a hug and we take a picture. So it's like full circle. But having Coulter is like my best part of in a fans interaction. That part right there, tearing up their signs, I love it. Well,
and you get both sides of it too. You get the heel interaction and the face interaction there with that. So
and he never
really cool.
takes it personally either, but it'd be so funny when I do it to him. Oh man.
Do you have a dream match?
I get this question a lot. Dream match. I don't really have one. You know what? I lied. So Vix Crow, aka Alicia Fox, is now, released from the company, and she's on the indie scene. I want to wrestle her.
Oh, that'd be cool.
She has been such an influence on me since I was calling in, voting for her to be top diva. Like, that's how much of a fan I was back then.
Yeah.
And I got to meet her, and oh my God, she's so nice.
That's cool.
She's very helpful, oh my God. So yes, that's my dream match.
Okay.
Because now I can actually have it. It's
there you
possible.
Go. Yeah, it's very possible. And she's done, when she was in the company, she did everything, I mean, she,
Yes.
She was in the Diva search, and she was also, I think at one point, wasn't she the wedding planner for Edge and Vicky's wedding or something like
She
that?
was. She was a Divas champion. Like,
yeah.
She's trailblazed a lot of things,
She has.
And to be with that company for so long, and now she's out and she's under Vix Crow. Like,
right.
she's a legend in her own right as well.
Yeah. She would definitely be a cool one. Another one that you brought up earlier, I'd like to see is you and Naomi.
Whew. Look, that's another match that's possible too.
Yes.
So yes, I am with it. We can go glow for punch. I am here.
That would be great. I've loved seeing. I've loved seeing what she's doing in Impact and everything, and that she's able to go there, and she didn't skip a beat. I mean, she's just doing amazing stuff there.
Yeah, I liked how she switched it up. She still has the glow persona, but her gear is fire.
Yes,
her movesets is still on point. She hasn't lost it at all. I love Naomi.
Oh yeah, she's always. She was one that I've always loved her, and I felt that she was kind of underutilized at times and everything. So I'm very happy with what they're Impact now. So
yeah, for her to have the first the thing she did with the title to make it glow like that, like who would have thought of that? Like that was
right.
That was so good.
Yeah,
and then the tag team with her and Monet.
Yep,
they were hot.
They were
hot, and I broke my heart when they had to do what they had to do and leave.
Right,
but they're still Monet hasn't lost a beat. She's doing great things in Japan. It's just I like to see when they leave from somewhere they're still progressing and doing what they got to do outside the business. Yep. Both of them, kudos to both of them. Keep making it happen.
Yeah, I mean they definitely have both, like you said, they haven't missed a beat. And I mean she went straight into New Japan and just like took over,
Yeah, went in with her crown on.
Exactly.
Yeah, so like those type of things, like I would love to, accomplish in my career, as far as being at the top level. As far as a lot of people think that say that WWE is the top level, and then leaving from there and still flourishing, getting your fans to come over to other brands and acknowledge that. Like that's great.
Oh yeah,
that is great, and I feel like that is very hard to do as a female wrestler. A male wrestler, baby, your fans gonna follow you.
Well,
man, it's great. I love it.
Look at CM Punk. I mean,
right? Like CM Punk, how long was he gone, and he came back and brought all the fans over there?
Oh yeah,
like yeah.
I mean, I think every week I'm seeing something on the dirt sheets about, maybe he's talking to WWE, Or,
I know. I saw something like that this week, and I'm like, no, he's not.
Well, I mean, it got to the point where somebody in upper management had to be like, no, we're not talking to him.
Yes, stop. I seen it on Twitter, yo. They was like, no, stop the rumors.
Oh, yeah. But, even with that, when Sasha and Naomi left WWE, they were in the news just about every week,
They were.
Where are they going to go next? They actually transcended beyond what their character was in the company and was able to go somewhere else because of the persona that they were able to portray when they were on TV.
Mm-hmm. And I think another thing too that helped them. We really don't know how they left WWE, but I feel like they left in the most professional way.
Yeah.
They didn't get on social media bashing. They didn't get on there saying, F this company.
Right.
They just was like, we're going to do this. And they did it and they left and they haven't spoken anything bad about them. That's so professional.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is even when you're trying to go somewhere else, a company doesn't like to see that you're bad mouthing another company, and I mean, look at somebody like Ryback, he's had a lot of bitter things that he said over the internet over the years, and he hasn't really went anywhere else after that because I think a lot of the companies have been very much like, you know what, I think we're going to pass because we've seen the way that you act, outside of that. And so being poised and being somebody who can be, respectful even when things aren't going your way goes a long ways. So
it does. And they haven't bashed a wrestler. They haven't done any of that. And you have, certain wrestlers out here that are bashing other wrestlers.
Right.
So it's just about how you carry yourself. Even if they had a bad breakup with WWE, we'll never know. And that's how anyone
should be.
Exactly. It's how it always should be. Just because you didn't work out for you there, it can work out for you somewhere else. You never know who's watching.
Exactly.
That's one thing. Like Jazz Rodney, you never know who's watching. Always stay professional.
Yeah. Well, there was one in particular. You said that, and it just came to my mind. Dexter Lumis. So he was let go And the only thing he did is he made this little video of him, and he pretty much was just saying thank you to the company in his own Dexter Loomis kind of way. And within a few months, he was already back in the company. And there was people who were like, that was very classy the way that he did that, and that went a long ways to where he was able to come back.
Exactly.
So.
Because you just think about it. How many wrestlers have left WWE,
Mm-hmm.
went somewhere else, and came right back?
Yep.
I mean, look at Cody Rhodes. How long was Cody gone?
Yeah. Oh, and the things Cody did too, he was able to do the throne and still come back.
and be the prince right now. He was the prince when he came back.
Exactly.
And got that whopping overcome welcome when he came at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It's all about the way you do things. And that's why I try my best not to bash anyone, not to talk bad about any company unless they do me wrong, because I have been done wrong.
Yeah.
By the promoter and the promotion itself, because there are some bad promoters out there. Oh my gosh.
They're everywhere too.
Look, let me just tell you the story.
Okay.
So I keep my poise. Okay. I'm very professional. I don't think anybody has badmouthed me. I hope not. But I went to a promotion. I think I was in the business maybe 4 or 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
Promoter came to me. I did my research on him, looked up the promotion. I'm like, okay, everything looks good. Blase, blase. About 2 hours out from San Antonio, which is where I live.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, I was trying to get some more dog pound people to come with me, because he was like, hey, if you got some more wrestlers, let me know. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I get there. The show goes off with a hitch. I had a fire match with, I hate her. I don't remember her name, but she is a trainer. She was a trainer at WoW. I always get her name wrong. Melina something. I feel so bad that I butcher her name. But had a fire match with her. She was in WWE as well, and now she's a trainer at WoW. Did very good. She told me I did very good. Enter my information to WoW. I might get, whatever. So did my match with her, and we're waiting around to get paid. The show's over. Who was there? There was another legend there. Sabu.
Okay.
Sabu, am I saying? Sabu was there. That was the main attraction for this particular show. He was the main attraction. So we ready. Everyone's putting up. We're putting our clothes back on. Everybody's packed up, ready to go. So we're waiting around for the promoter. And I'm like, hey. So I walked up to the promoter. I said, hey, are you paying out right now? Oh, no, the other guy's supposed to pay. I said, what other guy? I said, you contacted me. Where's my money?
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, oh, well, let me go see where he's at. I said, okay, I'm going to come with you. Because I've drove 2 hours. I'm just starting off in this business, and this whatever money that I asked you to be booked for is going to help me get back home.
Right. Yeah.
So he walks off. I see him walk off. All right, I'm waiting by the door. Blah 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 blah. Other wrestlers are coming. Misty, what's going on? I don't know, but they went to go get our money. I don't know what's going on, but they went to go get our money. Y'all just wait. So they go into this room. The other guy comes out. He's like, oh, they're in there counting the money now. I said, okay, no problem. So we come back out. There's a known guy around Texas that drives for the ring. His name is Mr. Jack. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to help Mr. Jack put up the ring. At this time, nobody has been paid. Not even Sabu.
Oh.
From my knowledge. Nobody was paid.
Yeah.
So we're still waiting around. If I tell you the show was over at 10, we probably didn't leave till midnight.
Oh, wow.
Trying to get our money. So I walked up, knocked on the door. Hey, y'all done sorting out what we getting, where our money at? Oh, we're still figuring it out. Oh, okay. So I go back out, talk to the rest. I say, hey, y'all, they still figuring out our money. Just wait around. Wait around for y'all coins if y'all want your coins.
Yeah. So
we waiting. I'm talking to another wrestler. We're just shooting the breeze, talking about the show, upcoming shows, just talking wrestler talk.
Right.
By this time, I think Mr. Jack's ring is halfway put down. So the promoter comes out. He hands me my money.
Mm-hmm.
I count it. It's short. So I let it go. I was like, I just won't work for you anymore.
Right.
So I say, hey guys, I got my money. Y'all make sure y'all get y'all money. I help put up some of the stuff for the ring, and then I leave because by now it's midnight.
Yeah.
Now it's about 12:30. It's about 12:30.
Wow.
So I drive off, right? The wrestler I was talking to, Shimbashi called me. He was like, hey, Misty, how much did you get paid? I told him how much I got paid. I said, but it is $10 short.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, tell me why he paid me less than half of what I'm worth. I said, how much did he pay you? He's like, $40.
Oh,
I was like, what?
wow.
I was like, yeah, we're not coming back. He
Yeah.
said some wrestlers didn't even get paid. He didn't even pay the Mr. Jack, the guy that brought the ring.
Yeah.
And I wish I can tell you this man's name, because from what I heard, he has done this multiple times around Texas. He started up a promotion, quote unquote, say he's going to pay, run the show, and then run off with the money.
Wow.
So that was my first ever experience. Like I didn't think that people take advantage of people like that, you know?
Right. Yeah.
But that taught me a lot. So I remember I was talking to Jazz about it. She was like, that's why you ask for a deposit. You ask for half of your money up front and the other half when the job is done or when you get to the venue.
That's smart.
I said, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I said, okay, say no more, coach. I got you.
Yeah.
So it was a whole bunch of us that were around the San Antonio area, Houston area that got skipped that day.
Wow.
And I felt so bad. I felt bad because I feel like I got what I was, I got my pay, even though it was $10 short.
Yeah.
Everybody else got, lowballed.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if the guy was scared of me or what, but I followed him. I'm like, I need my money.
Yeah.
I'm from Houston. We don't play about our coins.
Yeah.
I need my money.
There you go. Yeah. It's sad because I didn't know anything about the independent scene until about, March was the first time I'd ever went to an independent show.
Oh,
and
wow.
just since being around it this little bit of time that I have, you hear a plethora of stories about people having that very problem that you're talking about, and it blows me away. I mean, if you're going to tell somebody something, keep your word. Come on,
Yes.
So yeah.
And if you don't have the money to pay these people, stop booking. At least negotiate a price that you think is fair for this particular restaurant, or don't take the booking.
Right. Yeah. No, but that's a good one, that piece of advice. Get a deposit on there.
Get a deposit.
Yeah. Then they're serious about you too. So
yep.
So wow.
They know they don't want to lose you, and they're legit about the business that they're running.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you said something. You triggered. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Something in my brain when you said something. What did you? Oh, I didn't know about the independent scene either.
Did you not? Okay.
I didn't know there was like wrestling all over until I joined the wrestling school. I had no idea. I only companies I thought that existed was WWE.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
That's
So I've been known about the business for 4 years. I also knew that independent wrestling was available for 4 years. I had no idea.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so for me, it was one of my friends took me to a independent show. It was like 20 minutes from my house. And I was like,
wow.
How did I not know about
in
this?
your backyard?
Yeah. And now what's really cool is I have 2 of them. One's 15 minutes away from my house. The other one's about 10 minutes away from my house and stuff. Like Ozark Mountain Wrestling is right here by me. And then, I also work with Diamond State Wrestling, which is right here by me. So, it's cool that I have all this, because I went from having nothing and just watching WWE and Impact,
right,
to now. I mean, there's a weekend coming up to where the 28th, there's a show, and then we have a show on the 29th. So I'm just going to have a weekend of wrestling, and it's just going to be great. And I'm only going to be within 20 minutes of my house each night.
That's great.
So
that's great.
Yeah.
So you must have seen me at Ozark before.
I have actually never been to an Ozark show before.
Ah, okay. Because I've been to 2 up there. I wrestled up there twice.
Okay. So I didn't know anything about Ozark until a little later. And there's a whole story behind all of that. I won't get into that.
Okay.
But yeah, so I didn't know much about Ozark, and then Diamond is new up here. I think their first show was January of this year. So,
they're brand new. Okay.
Oh yeah. But I mean, they've got some pretty cool stuff. We've been doing all kinds of good things. I'm doing I'm one of their backstage correspondents now and all that. So
hey, look at you getting it on up there.
I know. Go from not knowing anything about independent wrestling in the area to being a backstage correspondent at one of the shows.
In the business. Yes.
Well, and I mean, it was a dream for me too. You know, I've always wanted to be part of wrestling.
Do you think you would have known about the wrestling as far as the independent scene if it wasn't for your friend taking you to a show?
I really don't know. You know, it was crazy because I had just started this podcast like 2 weeks before I went to that show. And I mean, I'm sure I would have seen it, but it was, so what it was, it's my son's stepdad. I was like, hey, I would like to take the boy to a show. You want to go with us? That, you know, because I mean, that's an important moment for you too, because me and him both like wrestling, you know. And so I was very grateful that, you know, he respected my position enough to allow me to be part of that as well, and not just take my son to a show without me, you know. But you know, he took me to that. We had a great time. I was hooked as soon as I saw that, because it was Luke Langley and Duke Cornell was the main event of that first show I went to. But I can't tell you whether I would know about it or not. Maybe because I know the ones that are here promote really well, and so I'm sure I would have seen it eventually. I just don't know how long it would have taken me to find it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It probably would have been a little bit longer. Probably would have been a little bit longer than what it was. Okay.
A little bit longer. And I mean, it changed my podcast too, because when my first episode, I tell people don't listen to it because it's horrible. You know, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I just knew that I wanted to do a podcast. And I had been doing another one with a friend of mine, and it got really political. And so I kind of was like, hey, I don't want to do this. I'm going to start my own thing. And I had so many ideas, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. And then I ended up started interviewing people, and it's kind of morphed into what it is now. And I interview wrestlers and musicians and voice actors and everything else.
That's cool. So you had a wide variety of people you were interviewing. That's cool.
Yeah. I actually, just a few weeks ago, I had, you know what Dragon Ball Z is?
Yes.
I had a voice actor from Dragon Ball Z on my show just a few weeks ago.
That's great.
Yeah. So, I mean, it kind of goes all over the place, but I love doing this, and I'm glad that I was able to jump into this, because then it opened my eyes to Texas wrestling, Oklahoma, you know, Missouri, all these different places. And now I've got wrestling all over the place. You know, I've got subscription to MPX on Twitch even. So
yeah, like I said, like I was saying at first, like wrestling is so diverse. Like, oh my God.
Yeah. But
cool. Okay.
It's a big part. You know, I love wrestling. My wife gets annoyed by it because I talk about it all the time. But, you know, whatever. Yeah. That's okay.
My
That's
significant other does too. He does. But I done got him in. So, you know, hopefully he'll be debuting somewhere soon.
Oh, cool. Well, I've got my kids. They'll go to the shows. And then my wife, every once in a while, she'll be like, I'll go to a show with you. You know, she's been to a few of them. In fact, I think that weekend of wrestling, we're probably going to be going to both shows. I mean, I'll be working one of them, but I think she's going to bring the kids to that one, and then we're going to go to the other one as well.
That is cool. Okay. Yeah. It's a family affair.
Exactly. Yeah. Make it a family affair.
And you know they're going to be asleep because all you got to do is go ahead and cheer. You can say whatever. I can. And they be so hoarse and tired in the car. It'll be perfect. Oh, yeah.
It's a good way to wear them out.
Absolutely. It's like going to an amusement park, but way cheaper.
So do you have any hobbies?
I love shopping. I don't know what else to tell you. I love shopping, and I love collecting Scooby-Doo memorabilia.
Really?
I am a huge Scooby-Doo fan. Like, I have a whole shelf, Scooby-Doo stuff, blankets, cups, candles, figurines, clocks, like you can name it.
Is there any particular Scooby-Doo that you like? Like, do you like the old cartoons? Do you like the movies?
My favorite is the movies. Like the old school movie ones. Like
with Sarah Michelle Gellar?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my second favorite one is the theme song from A Pup Named Scooby-Doo. That is my favorite theme song.
Okay.
Like, that's the Scooby-Doo I love. The newer Scooby-Doo is okay. I haven't seen the Velma. Everyone say, you should watch the Velma. It's all right. I'm like, I love Velma, but I don't think I love her enough to like watch it by herself.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I mean, Scooby Doo's awesome. You know,
he is like, oh my god, I freaking love him.
So, do you do like the Funkos and stuff too?
No, you know what? A podcaster asked me about that, and I haven't seen one.
Really? Okay.
No, I have not seen one. But if it's Scooby Doo, I'll probably collect it.
There you go.
I know they have a whole bunch of makeup, Scooby Doo makeup at Walmart right now, but I haven't been to a Walmart that has it.
Oh no. Well, you're gonna have to find it.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find it because I'm in the Scooby Doo fan group, and they be posting every day. I'm like, where? And they're all over the world, so they be in like New York and North Carolina. I'm like, mail me some. I will pay you. Mail me some. But yeah, it's great. I love collecting Scooby Doo stuff.
I'm kind of that way with Power Rangers and stuff because
I grew up on Power Ranger head.
Oh
okay.
yeah, I grew up with that. I was sitting in front of the TV when the first episode aired at my grandma's house. So, yeah, I remember it, and so like I collect the Funkos, and they have like this. It's called the Lightning Collection, which is a lot of the figurines and stuff that they do. And oh yeah, I'm all the time. I've got one that I'm waiting on. Let's see, I've got. What's today's date? The 17th. 17th. Mm-hmm. 17th. So I have, I think, 15 more days. 16 more days, maybe. Yeah, 16 more days. And then there should be a anniversary Green Ranger Funko that's being mailed to me. So,
that's gonna be cool.
I'm really stoked about that.
So I have a friend called Zach Mayhem. He has a podcast. He's had 4 of the Power Rangers on his podcast.
Really?
So you'll probably be very interested in listening to it.
What's the name of
his
it?
His name is Zach Mayhem.
Zach Mayhem. Okay. Is that the name of his podcast too?
That's the name of his podcast too. Yep.
I'm writing that down right now.
And he's had I think the pink Power Ranger, the yellow one, the black one, the blue one, all on his show, if I'm not mistaken. But I remember you should definitely check it out. That
I definitely will. I'm actually part of a podcast network called Zeo to Hero, and they are Zeo being based off of Power Rangers, and they are known as the Bulk and Skull of podcasting. They were even deemed that by the guys who play Bulk and Skull from the show. So we're always talking about Power Rangers and stuff, and I've had them on the podcast a few times, but I'm definitely gonna have to look up Zach Mayhem.
Yes, Zach Mayhem. Mm-hmm. I'm actually looking it up right now to make sure I'm giving you correct information, because you'll probably be like, Misty lie, there's no Zach Mayhem.
Man, yeah.
But I know he spells his name differently, so yeah, don't worry. Before we get off, you will have it.
Okay, I appreciate it. So do you have any goals set for the next year when it comes to your wrestling?
Yes. I want to make it to other states. I think I just broke the tip of the iceberg this past, year with going to Oklahoma and Arkansas. I want to get to other states. Like I at least want to scratch out 6 more states next year.
Okay.
And I also want to reach a peak where I collect more championships and wrestle more women. I've always said I want to wrestle every single woman in this business, whether they're green or at the top of the mountain, because I know I can learn something from the bottom to the top.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those 2 goals I'm still working towards. I know I won't be able to wrestle every woman, but I like the fact to know that I tried,
Yeah. So there is so we have somebody in our in Diamond State Wrestling that I believe that she lives in Texas, and you may have wrestled her before. Have you ever wrestled Emmy Camacho?
Emmy Camacho? No, but we have crossed paths before. You
have crossed paths. So that's our women's champion at Diamond State.
Okay, I've seen her post titles of the championship on her page. Yes.
Yeah. And then Olivia Vegas was the woman she was our inaugural champion.
I've wrestled Olivia before.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I've wrestled her before. Mm-hmm. She's a great competitor as well.
She is. Yeah.
But Emmy looks like she can pack a little power. That's why I want to wrestle her too. She's on my list. She's on my list.
The first show that I took my daughter to that she was at, she ended up getting a T-shirt of hers. So she's a big Emmy fan. So yeah, it's like I said, women's wrestling is a big deal when it comes to her. And then my son, he just loves watching it, and he tells me that he thinks I'm famous, I guess. So because I always talk to all these people that, and he's like, oh, my dad's famous. I'm like, okay, yeah.
he okay.
Yeah.
You know how kids are. They feel like if you're on TV, you're famous. So.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm not going to tell him any different, though. If that's the
of
way
course,
he wants
look,
to feel.
I'm not going to stop you.
Exactly.
As you shouldn't.
So we're kind of coming up close to a close here, but I do have a few more questions that I wanted to ask you before I get you off of here.
Okie doke.
Do you have any words of advice for somebody who's maybe just starting out or wanting to get started in wrestling?
Don't give up. The first day is always the hardest, but if you can push past what your body is telling you and go with your mind of keep going, you'll be able to achieve what you wanted to achieve, because the first day is always the hardest. All right.
So, and if people want to follow you online, how can they do that?
They can follow me at MYSTII, because I'm twice as good as you. Marks, MARKS, on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter.
Okay. Well, you just got a new Facebook account, didn't you? Because didn't something happen to the old one?
Yeah. Okay. So the old one got hacked, and so I turned so I ended up getting a page instead of another Facebook account. So the page, if it's me with it's grayed out. If it's me with 3 championships, that is the correct page.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And is there anything coming up maybe that you're excited about?
Yes. So this weekend I will be at TSW in Dallas, Texas. So if you go to TSW Instagram page, you can look that up. I'll also be in Austin, Texas, making my debut at Uncanny Attractions. That is on the 27th, that Friday. So if you guys want to come out and support that, that would be great. Dog Pound is having the show in Castroville, Texas, where Maddie Rankowski, she got my championship, but she will be there defending her title. So check it out.
All right. And is there anything maybe that you want to bring up before I get you off of here?
No, I think as we went on, and stuff started popping in my head, so I just said it. So I think we're good on that part.
All right. Sounds good. Well, it has been a lot of fun talking to you tonight. I've really enjoyed this. And I can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you. I'm excited. Thank you for having me on. This was fun.
It definitely was. All right. You have a great night.
You too. Bye.
Riddle me this. What do you get when you get 3 Power Ranger fans who also write Power Ranger fan fictions and upload them on separate podcasts and YouTube channels, and you happen to put the 3 of them together and they form a unique Power Ranger storyline? Here's your answer. You get the 3 Ranger Bros, who is myself, Ty Tiger, the Red Corner Ranger, Mark, and the Cosplay Dude 637. We are the 3 Ranger Bros, and we came up with the idea called Power Rangers Global, a storyline where 4 different Rangers from different universes team up to save Universe 2118, a universe ruled by the gods. Now, if you want to hear Power Rangers Global, you can find it on Tiger Tales, the YouTube channel, and Nerds Through Comics, the podcast, and you can find that podcast anywhere that podcast can be listened to. So one more time, that's Power Rangers Global on Tiger Tales, the YouTube channel, and Nerds Through Comics, the podcast.
Hey, avid podcast listener, come on over to the Zero to Hero podcast to listen to Billy and Jimmy, myself, talk about all kinds of things from the Nerdverse, Power Rangers, Gundams, anime, random TV shows, diseases, economic turmoil, and how to scam people on crypto.
All right, Deputy. Dispatch says there's a gas station robbery in progress. Fire it up and let's go. Deputy? Deputy!
Ow!
What's wrong with you? Didn't you hear me?
I'm sorry, Sheriff. I was just really wrapped up in this story on peculiar turnips.
You're listening to stories about turnips.
No, peculiar turnips. It's a podcast with all original stories. Oh, it's a trip. Some of these would be nightmare fuel if they weren't so daggone funny. And some of them will hit you in the feels, too.
Is that why you were laughing and crying earlier?
Well, yeah.
Oh, I thought you got your medication mixed up or something.
Oh, come on. Where else will you hear a story about a lovesick boy who throws a penny in a wishing well, makes a wish for a happily ever after, but a strange man inside the well keeps giving the penny back because his wish is impossible to grant? Or the one about a rose garden that replays your memories right in front of you? I kind of teared up over that one.
How long does it take to rob a gas station again?
Not too awful long. Why?
We probably got time to listen to one of them stories.
For strange, original, and mostly family-friendly stories that you'll never hear anywhere else, catch Peculiar Turnips on Spotify, or wherever you like to get your podcasts. Or visit peculiarturnips.libsyn.com. That's peculiarturnips.libsyn.com. Come out to the garden for a homegrown story.
All right, everybody. I hope that you enjoyed that episode with Mystii Marks. I know that I really enjoyed talking to her, and I just want to say thank you to her for being on the podcast and taking time out of her busy schedule to come on here and talk with me about wrestling. I also want to say thank you to my podcast networks, the OIW Podcast Network, the Avenue Podcast Network, and the Zio to Hero Podcast Network. If you're looking for something new to listen to, go to one of these places and you can find all kinds of great content. While you're waiting on an episode of iGadapt to drop, go and listen to some of these unique podcasts in these networks that I'm a part of. You've heard the Zio to Hero podcast. The guys from there, they have been on my show. I've had Willie, who is Cosplay Dude 637 on here. I've had all kinds of different people on here, and they have great episodes and podcasts of their own. And so go out there and listen to their stuff as well while you're waiting on mine. I'm actually going to be having another one of the guys from the Discord group on this next episode, and that is Ty. He has the Tiger Tales on YouTube and the Lost Episodes and all these different podcasts that he does that we're going to come on and talk about next week, and we're just going to kind of nerd out. He's a dad like me, and we're just going to have a great time talking, and so I'm looking forward to that. But like I said, if you're looking for a podcast, go to one of these podcast networks and find something to listen to because they all have great content on there. I also have merch out. As you know, my wife makes all my merch, so go and hit her up if you want a t-shirt or a sticker or a mug or something like that. It's Cups and Teas by Stasha. Also want to say thank you to Geek for making my ending theme song for me. I love having it on here. If you like the way it sounds when you hear me say I love you at the end, then that is him. And if you like that, go out there and give him some love. Listen to some of his music. He has all kinds of great stuff. I believe he just had a new album that just came out. So I also want to say thank you to Original Geek Comics for allowing me to be part of their Paladin comic book. I'm going to be having Nick Helms back on the show here really soon in the next few weeks, I believe. So be looking for that as well. And just want to say thank you to them for allowing me to be a part of that and advertise my podcast in their comic books. I'm also part of the Diamond State Wrestling Rare Cut. I'm not currently doing that show per se, but I am in the works of doing something new, and I promise I will be telling you guys what it is here soon. I'm also doing the backstage correspondent for them, so we have a show that's coming up on October 29th. Make sure that you come to that, get your tickets. We've got some great matches that are going to be there that night, and we're also having a Halloween costume contest as well. So show up, dressed up, have a great time, and I can't wait to see you guys there. As we're talking, I'm all over social media, and if you guys want to follow me on there, you can go to any of them and look up If You Give a Dad a Podcast, and you can find me there. I look forward to hearing from you guys if you guys want to send me a message on there. Also, if you would like to send me an email, you can send it to giveadadapodcast@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you guys. Tell me what you want to hear. I had somebody reach out to me the other day asking about having a certain guest on the show, and I was able to secure that guest to be on towards the end of December. So be looking out for that, and if you guys send me those, I will try my best to get these people on. Also, go out there, rate and review this episode, like, share, and subscribe. Give me a 5-star review if you enjoy this show. That way more people will be able to see it, the more people that rate it. And also hit that notification bell. That way you are notified when a new episode of iGadap is available. So we've reached the end of another great episode of If You Give a Dad a Podcast. And it is now time for Billy's favorite part of the episode. And that is Dad Joke of the Week. So I had another DBZ one, so I'm going to go with that because I just love these. What did Vegeta say when he got his tuition bill? It's over 9,000.
Jesus Christ, Jared, get over! God dang it, get over here, Jared! I swear to Jesus.
All right, everybody. I love you guys. I hope that you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time. Bye.
I'm in my room rounded, but I got a podcast on. He calls us beautiful people, then tells us who we have on. The best part of my day, the world blocked out in my pods. Tell my friends all about it so that they follow along. And the host is kinda nerdy, but guess what I am as well. I don't feel so alone and I began walking out of my shell. Heard a story, I need a connection I haven't felt. I'll be looking for the next one, till then farewell. It's the podcast for me. Have it on, better go see. Listen closely, download and tune in remotely. It's the podcast for me. Have it on, better go see. And listen closely, download and tune in remotely.
This podcast is part of the OIW Podcasting Network.